Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 93 of Court of Swords. I guess we can call this a new season, right, Adam? That's what I've been, touting, but this is technically a new season.
Sure. I mean, this is like the second half of whatever the season we were doing before is, but might as well be its own season. Yeah. Totally.
Season 6, I believe, potentially. Maybe, I'm not sure.
Right.
5.75. Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Yeah. Somewhere in there.
Max is confused. He's on a boat. He won't be here this week. So he's a little bit lost right now. He should return. So next week is weird because then I go on vacation next week. And so we got to figure out if we're doing an episode. I don't know when Max gets back, etc. But we'll figure that out later.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, because we still have an episode to do today. Zeke's camera's lagging a little bit, so yes, we're aware of it. No, there's nothing we can really do. We hope it irons itself out throughout the show. Yeah. We sat there and troubleshooted it for about 20 minutes before, and no dice. So
yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's I was streaming, I was uploading fine, just not an hour and a half ago. No drop frames. It was great. So fuck if I know what's going on. Like I would be more than happy to blame it on my ISP, which we all are, but
right,
I just don't fucking know.
Yeah, we're just not sure. So it is what it is. It's probably something you caught in New York and brought back with you, I would assume, right?
Yikes.
Yeah. Did you have fun in New York? How was your trip? I know you want to save a lot of your stuff and stories and everything and the experience for your stream, so I won't prod too much. But did you have fun?
I'm not on my channel, so I wouldn't want to say a few things anyway.
I see. Okay. Noted.
I had a lot of fun. I did a lot of the last time I did touristy New York stuff was when I was 14. I went there for the first time with my aunt and my cousin, and I was a budding like theater person, and they were like, oh, the place where theater is, it's in New York. So they took me to like 4 different shows. So I saw Stomp and Rent and Les Mis and Phantom.
Nice.
And then I did the bus tours and all the touristy stuff. But it's been a long time since I've like seen New York, like the new shit in New York. Mostly like when I've been there, it's for like a Comic-Con or something, or I'm visiting a friend. So I don't like get to see all the New York shit. So this time around, like I took some time and I was there. The reason why I was there is because the Burning Man camp that I stayed with is all New York based. They're all out of New York. And I made some new friends there. And I said, hey, what if I came out and like, crash on your couch or whatever? And one of the guys was like, yeah, come on out. So we did that. And I said, I want to do New York shit. So they took me around and they showed me like some of the new buildings and some of the new like New York features and that kind of shit. And I went to the top of the Rock, which is 30 Rock. And I went, the view is awesome. And it's better than going to the Empire State Building because when you're on the top of the Rock, you can see the Empire State Building, which is kind of, part of a staple of the New York skyline. But I took some pictures and had some videos, and I went to nice places for gentlemen. I think they call them gentlemen's clubs. I also went to, and let me tell you, those guys they're not very gentlemanly.
No.
And there's a lot of women for being a gentleman's club.
Yeah.
Yeah, not at all what the name suggests. Yeah. Where are all the men in this gentleman's club?
Yeah, no shit. But I also like I would say like a good 30-40% of the reason or what I want to do in other cities is the food. So we did a lot of that. I had lots of different like food styles that I can't get here in shitty Montana. Like someone asked me like, do you like Indian food? And I went, I don't know. We don't have that here. Yeah. So we went and had Indian food. We had some good noodles and some like, and every time I go there, I have to go to the Pizza Suprema, which is the best pizza I've ever had. Just so good. Delicious.
Did you get any of that spinach artichoke pizza? Did you find any of that?
No. I actually had to come back the next day because they told me to get the fuck out of their establishment.
Well, that's what they do. They try to hide it from you because they don't want the secret getting out. I shouldn't be out here promoting it on such a stage because they'll find me. So I'm sad you didn't get a chance to try it.
Food tourism is like the best shit. When I went to New York, I did the same thing, and I ate ramen. I think we were there for like 10 days, and I ate at like the top 6 ramen places in New York, and they were all so good. Like,
I can't understand that, man.
Oh, dude, no, it was so good. And one of them, we waited in line for 3 hours to get in, and it was
What the
completely
fuck?
worthwhile. It was so worth it. Yeah. I went to two different Momofuku places. We went to Fuku and Milk Bar, and they were both so good. Like, I can't, like,
I would.
it's
I'd go
one
to Milk
thing.
Bar
It's
and
one
wait
thing
for a
I'm.
while, I think.
It's one thing I'm like really, really into. Like, I don't mind waiting for food. Like, if it's good food, I seriously I'm like, fuck it. I'll just stand in line. I'll hang out with my friends. It doesn't matter. Yeah, so I feel you. Getting food you can't get at home. And I live in like a relatively proper sized city. As far as Canada goes, I live in like the second biggest place, I think. But yeah, going to a place like New York, you're like, oh yeah, this is like a for real city. This is like where actual shit happens.
Yeah. Well, cool. Sounds like you had a good time, Zeke.
I did. Let's see. I went to the Nintendo headquarters.
Oh, nice.
Or nothing. Excuse me, not the
store?
headquarters. The flagship store, like the first like Nintendo store. Went there. My tour guide he's all about like architecture and the glamour, like Fifth Avenue shit. So we toured up and down Fifth Avenue, and we went into St. Pat's. We went into the like the highest class hotel that they had, that you can like kind of peek in the lobby, but you can't really go in. And that kind of shit. Like, I mean, we got to
Stay outside, pleb.
and shit like that. Yeah, no, they're absolutely have bouncers for the lobby.
Oh, totally.
So
yeah.
like, don't get your greasy porness in here, please.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Of course they do.
But yeah, so we saw a lot of very cool architecture, and I had no idea like how awesome Grand Central Station is just to look at. I didn't know, like I've seen it in pictures, and I've seen it like the Improv Everywhere kind of thing. I was like, oh, it's just like a bus station. It's like, no, this thing is like gorgeous. It's actually really a feast for the eyes.
Yeah. And then you go downstairs and have a panic attack if you're not from there, because you don't understand any fucking thing that's happening on the subway. There's just too many goddamn trains going every which way. You're just lost. I'll always remember that.
That happens to people who've been there for years. Like we got on a train, and I was sitting there like talking to my buddy. I went, "Why are we going across the river?" And he goes, "Oh, we missed our stop. We're gonna have to get off and get back on." And I went,
Yeah.
You live here. You've lived here for like 6 years." And he's like, "It happens."
Yeah. Yep. That sounds about right. Well, cool. If you guys want to see, and I guess hear the real shit, the real New York stories, go check out Zeke's stream. I think tomorrow, he said, is when he's going to be spilling all that information. Tomorrow or the next day, something like that. Right, Zeke?
Yeah, I'll be streaming tonight, but I decided to wait until like around my normal time to like do that shit.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And my camera might go on and off because I'm gonna try and like do a capture instead of like OBS or something.
Okay.
To see if that works.
Well,
better.
it's infected Adam now, so now I just think that's like the routing that the program is using.
Yeah. Now I'm all weird.
Dan's the last bastion. All right, he's
Hold
holding
on,
strong.
Dan.
Yeah.
Well, Dan's got to keep moving around so that the lights don't go off on him. So
He does.
We'll know.
Yeah, that's true. Is that still an issue, Dan? Or I guess you didn't fix that between now and last week.
It'll be getting fixed this weekend.
Okay. All right. Do I want to ask why in the first place there's motion controlled lights? Is that just for power efficiency or something? So people don't leave it on?
We're in an office building, and they were already installed, and we couldn't take them out because our power is connected to other offices. So you have to coordinate with everyone to turn the power off at once. Well, luckily this weekend the power is being shut off by the power company, so we're gonna replace all of them when the power's out.
Okay. All right. Nicely done.
That's why.
I tuned into your stream for about 5 minutes earlier and saw you doing some jumping puzzles in Fallout. How's Fallout 76?
It's been 40 minutes. 40 minutes on doing this jumping puzzle. We got to jump using Bethesda's engine's horrible platforming mechanics to jump from little platforms. If you mess up once, you got to start all the way over again.
Nice.
It's in the beginning of the game too. It's right at the beginning as part of the tutorial, and you're like, "How dare you?" Oh,
I know. It's like I can't just leave this. Chat won't let me live it down if I don't do it. So, yeah, it was bad.
I just want to know what cruel developers like. You know what we need at the start of our game in our engine? A jumping puzzle. People love them. Let's throw them in there in our fucking 70-year-old game engine and just see what happens. Yeah.
The ultimate insult is that you finally get in there, the tower. You're like, okay, I'm gonna take a screenshot of myself in the tower. Not enough room for your camera in camera mode. It's like, so you can't take a picture inside there because the camera won't fit inside. So you got to jump out back onto the pillar outside just to take a picture of yourself next to the tower. It's so bad.
Good lord. That's ridiculous. What is it? Are you getting the lore that you want from it, Dan? Are you still gonna push on and can you technically 100% that? Like, is there?
I like exploring buildings and seeing what's inside of them. That's what I like about Fallout 4. Is like seeing a building and be like, oh, that's cool. What's in there? And walk inside. The lore so far has been kind of a mixed bag of, oh, this person's rambling on for about something I don't care about to, oh, that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Once in a while.
Okay.
It's a very mixed bag.
One out of every lore. Yeah, 1 out of every 1,000 lines. You're like, oh, neat. But the rest of you are like, oh, shut up. Just shut it up. Just move on,
like,
please.
Talk faster, lady, trying to sound old. Please, come on.
Jesus.
And then the apocalypse happened, and China put some bombs on us. Oh, boy. And it's just like 4 minutes of that. Like, oh, come on.
Yeah. And like you collect other holotapes in the meantime. You're like, I got to listen to this now after that one and then cue that one after that one. I don't know. It's a mixed bag.
Yeah. Me and Zeke are jumping into it tomorrow. I don't think Zeke's touched Fallout 76 at all. I definitely have it, but we're doing a DFG with Co, who is, I would say, a huge Fallout fan, much like yourself, Dan. I feel sorry for him having to play with me and Zeke, who are not big Fallout fans, because we're just probably going to shit on the game constantly and just ask why things are the way they are. But it is what it is, I guess. As long as, like, I don't know. I think I might just start off and go in a direction and find the biggest and baddest monster in there. Because I hear that's kind of cool. Like, there's a bunch of high-level mobs that look pretty cool, and we'll just absolutely one-shot you.
I'm not sure how well it scales, but there is definitely level scaling where things will spawn near your level around you.
Oh.
I don't know if you go too far from the middle, if they start being like high level without caring about your level, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
So you may not be able to see high level stuff until you actually level up enough to see them.
Fuck, that would bum me out if it only
Skyrim was the same way. You wouldn't see high level shit until you were high level. So I don't know if it's quite the same or not.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I guess we'll figure that out tomorrow. Anything else you've been playing on stream recently, Dan? That we don't have
Hitman
this week. Oh yeah, Hitman.
Hitman 2.
What do you think of Hitman?
It was kind of short, but
it was.
You can replay levels again and again. Like Hitman 1, the original game had like 13 missions, but this one only had 6.
Yeah.
The other one only had 6. But the quality of the levels was good. Like I love the racetrack level. That was really fun. But yeah, like it's fun, but it was definitely like, oh, it's over. That was fast.
Were you playing the PC version?
Yeah.
Did you have any crashes?
Didn't have any crashes.
Really?
There were a couple of spots where the frame rate kind of went down a bit, but it wasn't too bad.
I couldn't complete the last mission. I crashed 6 times in a row, and I was just like, I'm fucking done. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna be able to complete it. So I don't know if that's like a hardware issue or we're both on Windows 10, so I don't know.
I'm gonna pull a chat on you. Well, that didn't happen to me.
Right? So. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have that problem.
Yeah. No, I got that a lot yesterday. I played through this fine just earlier today.
It was fine for me.
Fine for me.
It's fine for me.
I don't know what your problem is. God.
So I just watched the final cutscene.
Different.
That was good.
I went on a fucking diatribe about that on Twitter once. when I said like my PC's doing blank thing, it's like, well, that's weird. Mine doesn't do that. I'm like, oh, it doesn't, does it? Well,
yeah, lucky you.
Oh man. Yeah, there were also some like weird FPS drops that I had to like disable G-Sync and turn on like vertical sync to stage 2, which then it says it's supposed to put it to 30 FPS on a PC, but it basically takes your the hertz that you're running in Windows and halves that. So the game ran at 72 FPS flawless for me. But the second that I turned that off, it would go up to like 144 and then randomly drop down to like 70 and then go back up.
Oh wow.
It seems, I don't know if my I don't know. I don't know what the issue was. There's some issues, so I would recommend the console version if you don't want to run into that stuff. But I thought it was a little short. I completed, except for the last mission, in about 7 hours.
2.5 short streams for me, and it was like, oh, it's over.
Yeah.
I replayed the missions, and it is fun to replay them, but it's not like I'd rather have more levels. You know?
Yeah.
It felt like 1 and 2 were one game, but two parts of one game that they released.
I would agree. Yeah. And there's also a shit ton of ways to like kill the different people that are. It's fun to see once, I guess, but I'm not the type of person that's gonna sit there and like grind out a level to like get the leveled up in a sense to get better starting locations, because I just don't fucking care.
Couple of the kills are pretty funny, and then you want to see the funny ones, and then after that you're like, okay, I don't need to do this 4 more times to unlock all these little challenge things.
Yeah.
Did you like the cutscene style into?
It was.
They like
so the cutscene style that Dan's referencing is that they basically put really good looking art and just like panned it or zoomed in on it slowly and put voice acting on top to where you couldn't really see the person's face that was talking. It was like the back of their head or something. I thought it was fine. I would assume that those resources went elsewhere in the game because whatever reason, that's just how game development I think works. But yeah, it's definitely a little jarring if you're expecting like the crazy cut sequences of the Hitman guy, Agent 47 walking in and like shooting a guy and the blood pooling and then him walking out, etc. It's not that. They were a little weird. It was a little weird to not see the voice acting stuff. So, I have to ask: did anyone play Tetris Effect, or am I the only person that's played it thus far?
I was gonna play it after we talked about it on Friday. I was gonna play it, and then I saw a tweet where someone was like, "I played Tetris Effect, and it's really cool, but I didn't really understand or appreciate it until I played it in VR." And then I was just like, and I was like, I don't have like a PSVR, so I don't want to play the half-assed version of it and play it and be like, this is fun, but like, it isn't the real game. So I gave it a pass. But everybody I've been seeing talking about it is just like, it's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan,
so I don't know. Should I play it if I'm not going to play it in VR? Should I still try it?
I mean, ultimately, it's a Tetris game without VR. If that's like it's still, the pieces are still tied to the music, so that you're ultimately like playing not necessarily a rhythm game, but as you sit there and like spin pieces, they will alter the music in a sense, which is fun. And if you like Tetris, it's a really good Tetris game. But yeah, the VR stuff is definitely where it's just like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, I understand what the fuck's happening.
Right. And we were talking about this before. It's by the people that did Luminous, and I really like Luminous a lot. So yeah, I could see checking it out. Yeah, I just didn't want to play it and be like, oh, well, like it's cool and stuff, but like I wonder what it's really like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were we gonna say, Dan?
I saw the video of them having one of the world champions of Tetris play it. He played it first non-VR and he was doing okay. Then he put on the VR mode and then he just was just like in it and just like killing his score.
So yeah. There's this whole like weird, not weird. I don't know what you want to call it, but basically they talk about like the flow of Tetris, like where you just get completely into the game and just forget about everything else happening. I played for 5 hours straight with a VR helmet on, and I had it felt like I was gone. Like time did not exist for me in these 5 hours. And I took it off and I was like, this world's really boring. Like I immediately wanted to go back in. I've never played a VR game for that long without break in a very long time. Or maybe ever potentially. And there's definitely moments where like the the music is set up to progress in a sense after like certain amount of lines cleared in the quote journey, which is like their campaign, I guess is what you could say. And for the final one, it's the song from the trailer, and you basically have to get 90 lines on normal, which is not that bad. Speed's like 13, 14, which is it took me about 3 or 4 hours to get through. It was very difficult for me because I'm not that good at Tetris. But there's points in that song where like this weird, like almost wispy, ethereal lyrics come into play. And for whatever reason, I'm sitting there with the VR headset. And I remember when I was streaming it, I said to Chad, I was like, I'm so happy that I have a headset right now because you guys would probably see tears coming from my face for some dumb fucking reason because of what this game's doing to me. So I would definitely say try to find a Tetris VR thing or a PSVR thing and play it because it's pretty good.
I just love how foreign emotions are used. Like, my eyes, are they injured?
Dude,
leaking.
It was great.
It was leaking from my eyes.
It was so good. It was
not blood.
It's a thing. I've gone back and played. I've actually played a lot right before I go to sleep. For whatever reason, it's a good way to like calm me down, I guess. So I've been playing like 2 or 3 hours every night. And it also
All right. Well, so here's
it teaches
here's
you
what
how
we
to be
should
better
do.
at
Here's what
Tetris, by the way. Funny enough.
next time we do a live show, yeah, I'll try it. You should let me try it out next time we do a live show.
Yeah.
Because I'm interested in it.
Okay. You also have to wear headphones. You also have to turn them up very
Oh,
loud.
yeah, of course.
It completes the entire experience. So if you have a PSVR, you have a friend that has one, go grab. It's $40. That's the only thing. It's like you're buying a Tetris game for $40. A little pricey. But it's got a lot of modes. So if you're really into Tetris, like you can get a shit ton of stuff out of it. But it's worth seeing or playing at least once. Adam, what about you? What have you been up to? It looks like you got cured from the New York internet AIDS.
That's right. I got my cure back. Yeah, it's that even the internet has socialized healthcare in Canada.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went and saw Die Hard in the theater, which I'd never done before.
What?
I was in Seattle. And we saw that there was one theater that's been playing like classic movies in the theater. And when I get a chance to see a movie I already like that I've never seen in the theater, I jump on it. So I was just like, we got to go see this. So Blue Jay and I went and saw it, and it was fucking awesome. And there was a ton of little things that I missed the first 700 times I saw that movie, which was neat. It's cool to be able to sit down on a movie you've seen a bunch of times and be like, oh, I didn't realize that happened. Or like, it actually does make a difference that you're sitting in front of an enormous screen and like totally focused on it.
Totally.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
I noticed today, this is the thing that made me, I laughed so fucking hard earlier today. So they announced recently, I guess either today or recently enough that I hadn't seen it till today, the nominees for the Game Awards. You see this?
Yes.
And obviously you guys are going to talk about this on Drop Frames, but I skipped, as I always do, I skipped right down to Best Narrative because I'm like, okay, what did they think the best story was?
Yeah. I know where you're going with this. Continue.
You see, so there. I'm like, Best Narrative. Let's see here. Best Narrative. What do we got? Life is Strange 2, Episode 1. Okay, all right. Red Dead Redemption 2. Sure. Spider-Man, God of War. Great. Detroit, Become Human.
Yeah.
Like, did you assholes even play that game? Do you even know what the word best means? Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
It is the stupidest game ever of all time. And I'm just like, man, David Cage, go you. I hope you win because oof. Like, it's nominated for Best Game Direction, which is a game studio with outstanding creative vision in direction and design. It's nominated for that. And I think that's a much better fit. Like, yeah, it's a shit game, but it's clearly a David Cage game. Like, it's this one guy just did all the decision making for the game. But, like, Best Narrative?
Yeah.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
I laughed so hard when I saw that. Like, I couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
Man, game journalism. It's good shit.
Yeah.
So that made my day.
Yeah.
I've been living off that all day.
I'm glad. Zeke.
Yep.
I've been, incommunicado from like most of my work in the world and shit, so I didn't know. And I'm now just looking over it. And I gotta give props, like, for my boy Matt Makes Games, for Celeste getting it, like, the Game of the Year
that's
nominee.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Dude, that is fucking cool as fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They always kind of have their like indie game into the Game of the Year category, at least in recent years. So it makes sense for it to be there. I like the creator of the year was 4 Fortnite streamers and then a YouTuber. I thought
Nice. Yeah.
pretty funny. Yeah, that was pretty.
Yep.
I also thought Fortnite for best ongoing game or something. I think that's the title of it is ongoing game, so it's like game that gets patches or something. That'll probably win that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that the Game Awards is you watch it for the game trailers, not necessarily the awards for the most part. So I'll probably be restreaming that. I'm sure Dan will as well.
Can we, for a moment, before we play Dungeons and Dragons today, can we talk about Detective Pikachu? Can we?
I wanted to because I think that's
boy.
the third best movie of 2019. I think it's gonna be. Look.
I'm so excited.
The Avengers is 1, Captain Marvel is 2, and then the fucking Detective Pikachu is 3rd.
Yeah. Somebody asked me the other day. They were like, "What are your thoughts?" And I was like, "All I want to know is, does this set a precedent for the fact that does this mean every Pokemon is actually trying to say things and people just don't understand them? Or is somehow this particular Pikachu special?" That's the mystery I want to uncover. That's what I want Detective Pikachu to find out. Because if all the Pokemon are always trying to talk and we just can't understand them, it makes the context for every show all the way through totally different. Like what's the deal, right? Meowth could speak English, and what, we all understand him? Or I don't know. I love this shit about Pokemon because it's been going on so long, and they just don't care about answering these questions.
Yeah.
But they'll create situations like this where they're like, I don't know, sure, a Pikachu, and this one kid can understand him. I don't know, let's find out. But it's gonna be
It looks fucking
train
incredible,
wreck.
man.
Yeah.
I can't like I'm genuinely. I think that movie is going to make so much fucking goddamn money because of how big Pokemon is, and the people that have grown up with Pokemon who have kids now are going to take it to see. It's probably going to spawn an entire new thing of Pokemon in this like real life world, which I'm super.
You know
Well,
what?
yeah, this is it's the first time, right? Like we haven't had this like context of humans and Pokemon.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. What were we gonna say, Zeke?
Man.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of a Pokemon version of, and it has to be better than this, but it reminds me of the Pokemon version of the Garbage Pail Kids movie. Like if you ever saw that, it is one of the worst pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of that for sure.
Yeah, I saw a lot of comparisons.
You can add it
to Roger Rabbit.
You can add it to the list. Right, I was gonna say add it to the list of movies that combine animated characters and what's like Cool World. I don't know if you've seen Cool World, but it's like Roger Rabbit, but for grown-ups. Brad Pitt is in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't see the trailer or anything. I just saw like the little Twitter pictures. Like,
Oh,
is it?
you need to
I
watch
thought it was
the
all,
trailer.
I thought it was all live action stuff or like CGI shit. I didn't know it was like. Do they have the actual anime in there?
No, it is.
No.
It is. Yeah. It
Okay.
is like CG, but yeah.
Man.
Cool World is fucking awesome. If you don't think so, you're dumb.
You should, Zeke.
Burnt.
You should watch the Detective Pikachu trailer on stream whenever, because it's worth it.
The funny thing is, I haven't watched the Detective Pikachu one, but I did watch a dub of Frank from Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they dubbed his voice into Pikachu, and it was perfect. It was fucking beautiful.
Nice. Yeah. I was.
I'm
laughing.
excited.
The trailer's great. I'm into it.
It is really good. Yeah, I'm excited. I was looking at the casting for it, and I was like, "Cool, this is a very Hollywood move, right?" They're like, "Okay, so this is it's a movie about Pikachu. It's a Pokemon. Pokemon's from Japan. We can have a Japanese person in this. Who's the one Japanese person Hollywood knows? Who's their one Japanese friend? It's Ken Watanabe.
Yeah, of
and they're
course.
like, "Yeah, we'll just put him in there because it's fine. We need this one Japanese guy."
Yep.
That made me laugh so hard too. It's been a jovial day of exciting delights, and I'm so glad that this Pikachu monstrosity exists.
gonna be
And I will
great, man.
definitely go see it in the theater.
I
will 100% see that in the theater.
I love people freaking out over the fact that like Pokemons have fur, and the texture of Pokemons that they imagined are completely different from what is actually in the movie. I love the fact that fucking Mr. Mime is in there. And he's miming, and it looks he looks creepy as shit, but he's a goddamn Pokemon, and he's in the goddamn movie. It's great.
Someone tweeted earlier today. I saw a tweet that someone was like, "What did you expect them to look like? Like, was Jigglypuff just like a big rubbery balloon? Like, that's not good either. Like, he's not a haggis. Like, yeah.
I think it's going to be fantastic.
I think Jigglypuff is the physical embodiment of 6 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Big rubbery
God,
mess.
It looks so good.
gross.
It looks so good. I can't wait. I cannot wait. That comes out. Is that 2019? Just they didn't put an actual month or date to it,
Yeah,
right?
I didn't see a date. No.
Okay.
Let's see if they have one now. It looks like May. Looks like May of
Oh,
2019.
okay. Nice. Damn, 2019 is going to be kind of crazy year for movies. It's like Captain Marvel, Avengers, Detective Pikachu, Toy Story 4. There's a bunch of fucking, and we don't even know what's coming out next winter. I don't think so. Should be a good year for movies. Dan, any thoughts on Detective Pikachu? Any hot takes?
I will see it. It could either be really good or just horrible.
Okay.
I'll see.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah. Oh yeah. Then the Game of Thrones final season in April. That they got out there. That whole marketing thing kicked up today or yesterday, whenever it started. So should be a good year for media. But that's our 30-minute pre-show. Our time is up, so we got to jump into some Court of Swords and see what the fuck's going on with Mr. Ramus Krill.
Yeah. Let's do it. So, we got to talk about goals and stuff, and I think that this is a great time to kind of figure out how all the characters, like, why are these characters together? What is the deal? And I think that this section kind of revolves around Ramus, right? At least initially, in the same way that the first bit was kind of Yoji on a mission and Kalimont coming along. This is Ramus's jam. So, Ramus, we've established that you have or intend to return to the Court of Swords because above and beyond anything else, because this is like where you're from, you're coming home. There's some opportunity here for you. Is it because you're directly like seeking your soul, or is there another reason for you to return here? And also, I'm sure you remember, Dan, but for the audience, there was a brief flash of an image of something in the Court of Swords long ago that may be driving Ramus to come back here. Do you remember what I'm talking about? You got this is the thing from Kukrit, and you saw. Yep.
Yeah, there was the door that the what was the name of that place that we were in?
Oh, the Devil's Vault. Yeah.
Devil's Vault. Yeah, it showed me a location in the Shulin Valley, which is on the way into the Court of Swords. That we might pit stop there. I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's in the vicinity, but you needed. Yeah, so you're headed to the Court of Swords. What is Ramus's like? And obviously, we'll talk about mechanically what your goals are. But what is Ramus about? Why are you headed to the Court of Swords?
He wants to connect with Emix and his power, as he feels that heaven doesn't care or can't see him anymore, because he feels like he's fading away, and he thinks that maybe the old gods may care and may be able to help or break whatever is happening to me. And he keeps obsessing over the lines in Sally Hoffa's notes that said souls are a lie or something like that. He wrote that from the knowledge god. Like, he keeps going over these notes and keeps finding things that Sally Hoffa over the years have been researching, and just like something that isn't right. And he just needs someone who's not part of heaven to get some answers or help or to break this fading away.
Yeah, and that's been the thing. Yeah, and that's been the thing, is that way back when we had Hazan, who needed his servant Ramus to keep kicking, and so Ramus was sort of reinstated. Part of your soul was returned to you, enough to animate your body, but Hazan is long gone, and now you're searching the world for. And I was thinking about how there's kind of a good like analogy here between you're seeking out Imix, who is the primordial of fire, and you yourself, your inner spark has gone out, right? So you're seeking to be sort of rekindled. We got this kind of like Dark Souls thing going on. So and I think that we had talked before about Ramus finding some kind of like indication that if he goes to the Court of Swords, that there are servants, there are embers of Imix in that. in that kingdom, in the court, that could be able to help him. You have, and I mean, maybe literally Berg has it, but one of the two of you, you have the token that Agni gave you, and she told you to find those who serve her father and tell them that her brother is in the hands of the forest gnomes in the Shulin Valley, and that they would help you if you could bring that to them. So I guess that's the quest, right? Is like go to the Court of Swords, find the embers of Imix, find Imix's servants, and turn over the gem to them. And then phase 2 will be like, get yours, right? Either get your soul back or, yeah. Okay. So, you've been traveling with Berg. He is not with you right now, but we can figure out what Berg is up to later. But you'll have some other folks who have joined your quest. I think when we begin, you haven't entered the Court of Swords yet, because I wanna start off kind of at the border and the entry into the court, kind of to establish what's going on there. So you would have picked up these folks on your way. So do you guys, JP and Zeke, do you want to talk a little bit about, like, Zeke? We just your character's pretty fresh in mind for me because we just finished making them. But I was thinking you left the Court of Swords, right, for a while, and you're like, I think you're also coming home. You're like returning. Because we had talked about, and I don't want to give away all your backstory stuff, but you had talked about kind of being like on a journey to perfect your art, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. Yeah, I don't know how much you want me to go into detail yet.
Yeah, I just need to know your reason for being, like, I guess, are you returning with Ramus because, and I guess maybe this is the other thing. Your parents, Zeke, your character's parents, they have a member of the like, one of the arcana is like sacred to them. Do you know which one it is? Did you want to pick one for them, or do you want me to pick one and just tell you? Oh,
one of the members of, like, the higher arcana?
Yeah, because your family, as with all of the Gaja in the court, they're revered and they are considered, like, elevated by the gods, and so the arcana, they would have adopted a particular one as their sort of patron arcana.
Yes, they would have.
The easy one for me, the one I would like be like, this is the easiest way to hook them together, would be the sun, right? Because that's Ramus's old monastery.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's certainly an option if you don't care, like, because it's for me kind of like giving me some goal for them, like where they would sit.
I like it. I like that. I like the sun.
Okay. All right.
Let's go with that. That sounds beautiful. Hold on 1 second. Where the fuck did I put that? Oh. Okay.
So here's the thing. Your parents, they are either directly responsible for or are connected in some way to the monastery where Ramus grew up. So Ramus, you remember the patrons of your monastery, either the people who built it or who run it or any of that stuff. They are like, they're. Sorry, go ahead, Zeke.
Okay, I think it's like an opera, like an opera house or something like that. Like they're not part of the clergy or anything, but they're like, they've got a wing in like the Temple of the Sun, like kind of dedicated to them, kind of a thing. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool.
So if he ever caught my family name, it would be familiar.
Right. So you remember as a child then, right? You remember as a child then, Ramus, there was occasional visits during like the high holy times where your patrons would come to the monastery, maybe like give out sweets to the children, but mostly they were there to deal with the high priest and to kind of like see where their money was being spent. And so you vaguely kind of remember them. Okay, cool. So there's a connection for the two of you there, but I think you are, and we can just work it out as we play, but I think that you both have, your main goal is to return to the court. and the court itself has become somewhat unsafe. So it's good to travel with people who are familiar with the area. And for you
And I
too,
think,
yeah, good.
I think given my background and my special items, that we kind of probably that's how we broke the ice, is that our love of fine wine like brought us together, and I showed him my cool thing, and it was we had some drinks together, and we definitely like formed a bond like through alcohol.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, Ramus, for you, whether that's like real or not, right? Whether you're actually friends with this Gaja or not, you know that traveling with one in the Court of Swords means free lodging, probably free food. People will bring blessings and offerings to this creature. So if you can just hang out with him, you'll get free stuff, and people will treat you nice. So you got that going for you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. All right, cool. So we can work out the details as we go and kind of like reveal that stuff. So, JP, for you, you and Dan can work out how much you know about each other, but do you think like did they hire you? Did you find out that Ramus was going to the court? Like I know why you're there, and we talked about this before in your sort of connection to Imix, but how are you connected to the party?
I'll ask Dan a question. Dan, were you being secretive in the fact that you were looking for, the cult of Imix or a way to find Imix, or were you being pretty showy about it?
I think hiding it until we're closer with each other, and then I reveal the true nature of it.
Okay. But you weren't
Once you're with it.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm still on the surface being a clergy of the tower, but I'm not quite like flaunting that we're looking for them yet.
Okay, so you weren't like poking around in a town or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Then, yeah, I would think that you probably just like hired me as a mercenary.
Yeah, we definitely need muscle.
A bodyguard.
Yeah. Yeah, as a bodyguard. Maybe since like Berg went off and did whatever Berg is doing, you needed like muscle. So that's what you hired me for.
Berg's like becoming less reliable. He keeps going off on these little things on his own, and then I need someone to replace him. So you're there to protect me while he's not.
Cool.
Berg is gonna come back and be like, "Who's this tall guy with a big weapon? It's your new best friend, Ramus. What's going on, Ramus?"
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty good. I like it. Okay, cool. So, let's see. So we know why you're together. You need to come to the Court of Swords. You have both your own reasons, and I love the idea of visiting Ramus's childhood monastery and meeting Zeke's character's parents and stuff. I would love to see that be a thing. And so we'll detail a little bit of your own personal stuff as we go along. So let's do goals. Let's write some goals just for this session. So currently the group of you are outside the court, and with the first episode of an arc, it's always a little hard to write 3 full goals for what you want to do today.
Right.
But basically the first step in anything else that you want to accomplish is to get into the court of Swords, and I'll explain why that's difficult when we begin. But Ramus, do you have ideas for what you want your goals to be?
Find out if I can trust my companions with the knowledge that I'm looking for at Emix.
Okay.
And then try to track down clues as to where they can be found. It's the cult.
Okay, yeah. Track down a clue that will lead me to the Embers of Imix. Okay, that's cool. All right. Do you have a third one, or
just gain access to the Court of Swords?
Yeah, totally. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. Okay. JP, do you know what you want for your goals?
Yes. First one will be Escort Master Krill into the Court of Swords. The second one will be determine if the Loxodon is a worthy fighter. And the third one will probably just be gain entry into the Court of Swords as well.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. All right. Determine if the Gaja is a worthy fighter. Okay, and then yeah, gain access. And I think that's a reasonable goal for everybody. Okay. Cool. All right.
May have fixed my camera too.
Zeke.
Yep.
Yeah, it seems like you're better.
Okay. Gain access to the Court of Swords. Return to my family and let them know where I've been and what I've been doing. And it's like coming back from college. Like, look, I'm an adult now. Look at how much I've changed and grown.
Right. Okay. So return to mother and father. Okay. So you go back to your family. Do you have any siblings?
And how about like, let's have an actual thing, like return to mother, father, and impress them with my maturation, I guess.
Okay. Sure. Okay. All right. I will change the difficulty of the goal. Okay. Cool. And then,
And what was the question?
do you have any siblings?
Yes, I am the youngest of 3, I would say.
Okay.
I'm the fuck up.
Yes. All right. So Yota has. We should have stopped at 2.
Yes.
And I'm just imagining your parents as like the elephant versions of Aziz Ansari's character's mom and dad from Master of None. All right, cool. So you got 2 siblings. Good. All right. And then do you have a third one?
Yes. Can maybe help me form this? I want to help Ramus like get his soul or get his affliction cured.
Okay. So I think you don't know what's wrong with Ramus, but something is obviously and definitely wrong with him. So maybe what's the first step towards helping him?
Maybe
Gain access to Court of Swords is
you could say something like
Yeah, but maybe-
what's wrong with Ramus or something.
Yeah.
Like
yep.
Right? Because I would say that would be a great place to start. Yeah, totally.
Help Ramus to determine the cause of his ills.
Okay. Sure. Okay. So yeah, figure out what's wrong with Ramus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Diagnose. I'm not only a drunken elephant monk, but I'm also house now.
Perfect.
It's never lupus.
Yeah. Somebody put on some Massive Attack. Okay.
Great song.
Good. It is, isn't it? So here's a question, and one we haven't answered for a group in a long time. Did the group of you get your fortune told before you came to the border? Have you seen a fortune teller?
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but fortune tellers are a thing of like the new gods, correct? Like heaven.
Yeah, well, yeah, 100%. It's the Arcana. They're a form of like blessing of the Arcana that help people find their path.
I definitely didn't bring it up if there was a discussion. It wasn't me.
I think it might have been like if it happened, it might have been a lark for me. Just like, oh, we're here. Since we're here, let's fucking get a reading. You know, like kind of stuff. And not like give it too much attention. Or credence, I guess. But it might. Do you want to do a reading?
What do you think, Dan?
What about you,
Yeah,
Ramus?
I mean it's up to you guys. There's reasons to do it and reasons not to.
I think I would have been like, well, if you want to play that little game, I don't care. Like,
oh, good. Then I would have totally done it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for the fun of it. It's like, I mean, honestly, it's like when you go into like a bar and they have that punching bag, you're like, come on, everybody, try the punching bag. Come on, do it.
Yeah. If Ramus says sure, then yeah, he's paying me. So I do whatever he wants.
Okay. Yeah, and it's like it's a tradition too. Like it's not just whether or not you believe in it. It's like it'd be like going to church, even if you're not a Catholic, like going to church on Christmas, because it's just like a thing that you do on that time. So you're like, we're setting out on a journey together, and maybe we should do this. Okay. All right. So let's see. We need JP and Dan and Zeke. And Zeke and JP. Okay, so who wants to go? Who wants to go first?
I think Zeke's character seems pretty into it, so.
Well, I just had the card.
Okay, so
like,
No, I know
Zeke,
that, but
yeah,
you're
I'm
the
just
one that
gonna-
suggested it, so I think you would go first.
okay, Zeke. So I'll draw here so we can have them on the board. Let me deal you one. All right. Here we go. Okay, so this is Zeke, your character, and Ramus. So you've got it looks like the 6 of Wands. So the 6 of Wands.
you're drawing them too. Okay.
Yeah. Because then we can have them on the board.
You betcha. All right.
Ooh, 6 of Wands is great. 6 of Wands is a good one. Triumph, acclaim, and pride. Having your day in the sun, being vindicated, receiving a pat on the back, being acknowledged, strutting your stuff, and holding your head up high. So the two of you, your relationship, the gods say, will bring both of you, or at least one of you, it'll bring you acclaim and glory and recognition. Something that Yota, you have been hungry for some time. So perhaps meeting Ramus will finally get you the respect you so desperately deserve.
And I'm sorry, whose card is that?
That's you. That's you and Ramus.
You're doing the cards for our relationship.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
So these
cool.
are. Oh, you know what? The reason why I'm like saying this stuff and it's not registering for you is because we haven't done
he's
this.
never done this before.
Since you've been on the show. So here's the thing about how this works in universe. I'm so sorry. So in universe, whenever people undertake like a new business venture, or they go on a journey, or like a child is born, or like literally at the drop of a hat, basically, they will see an official like a fortune teller who will draw cards for them. And when you set out on a journey, you and your friends all go together, and a card is drawn to represent your bonds to each other. So the two of you would have sat down, all three of you would have sat down together, and the fortune teller would have drawn a card and said, the two of you, Yota and Ramus, you are represented by the 6 of Wands. And so in your future together, you will receive, there will be triumph and acclaim, and a sense of pride between you. So that's auspicious. It's an auspicious friendship. We'll see if it pays off, but that is what the gods have to say. So it's a 6 of Wands between the two of you. Triumph and acknowledgement, right? Acclaim. Fun. Okay. All right. So let's keep it going. Grab another one for Yotazo and Maharib. So the two of you, now that you have met, let's see your relationship. So saith the gods. Let's see. It looks like a 9 of cups. Look at that happy little man on his stool.
That looks really happy, just like the card
Yeah,
right
a
now.
a 9 of cups. So a 9 of cups. Wow. Satisfaction, wish fulfillment, obtaining your goals, having your dreams come true, feeling pleased as punch, being contented, and feeling as though all is well with the world. Relaxing, experiencing beauty in the arts, savoring a delicious meal, like just having a good time.
Okay.
And yeah, Yoda's like a great dude to have around. So that's the thing. I imagine, Maharib, how do you respond to this? Because I feel like, Yota, this is your life, man. Every day is a party. You get to have a great time whenever you want to. But Maharib, how would you have responded to that? Would this be like positive or kind of like uncomfortable, or what do you think?
I definitely don't put any faith whatsoever in the cards. So if Elephant Man's okay with it, I'm happy. Like, as long as he's okay with the card drawing, totally fine.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Okay. All right. So wish fulfillment and satisfaction. So being friends will lead you to these things. And then
That's
our
for me.
third.
That's me and
Mhm.
Maharib.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for
us.
you and Maharib. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then our last one, Ramus and his new muscle. Let's see how it is for you guys. Ooh, damn. All right, Justice. That's
God.
okay. Nope, that's good. I like that one. So for the two of you, your relationship will be affected by the major arcana of Justice. Justice, which is assuming responsibility, settling old debts, acknowledging the truth, handling the situation, doing what must be done, recognizing the actions of karma, seeing how you made the situation for yourself, and balancing all factors to choose right action.
Oh.
So that's pretty good.
Any ideas? You have no idea what my character is. I know exactly what Ramus is. I have no idea how this would apply between the two of us.
I've got some thoughts on this one. It should be an interesting one. So that's cool.
Okay.
Good. All right. So whether the characters or particularly believe in this or not, I have now some information about what the gods think about your being friends.
Great.
Quick question, Adam.
Yeah,
Do
Zeke?
do you do it reversed ever? Like, do you like?
No, not for these.
Cool.
Yeah. These ones we do the regular. So that's your sort of divine place in the world. At some point, you have had this fortune told, maybe in one of the villages on your way to where you're going. And then I have one last bit of setup for us, and then we'll carry on. Now, this is something else we haven't done in a long time. I have some love letters for you. I have some letters to catch the characters up. So I want to save Ramus for last, because Ramus, you've done these before. So let's start with Zeke's character. Let's start with Yota. So these are ways that I can get you to roll and to sort of fill in what's been going on with you off stream or off screen. It'll give you some choices to make, and some might be good, some might be bad, and it'll get you kind of squared away for the beginning of the game. So. Yotazo, you are returning home at long last after wandering the courts and practicing your kung fu. Let us see what you have returned home with. I'm going to get you to roll a 2d6 and add whatever your wisdom modifier is.
Okay. It is a 3. Okay. So 2d6 plus 3.
Mm-hmm. Nice. It's a 10. Okay, so a 10 is the best you can do. So on a 10, you can choose 2 of these. I'm gonna read you 3 options, and you tell me 2. So on a 10 plus, you choose 2. On a 7 and 9, you'd only get 1. And on a miss, you would come home with only a heavy heart and a sense of longing you can't quite understand. So you have 2 of these 3 things. You have a sacred brew. That you have uncovered and are saving for a special occasion, a mirror that can show you the face of someone's past incarnation, or a loyal pet that will follow you wherever you go.
And I get to pick one of the
2 of the 3.
Or 2
you
of
get 2
those.
because you got a 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Say it one more time.
A sacred brew you've been saving for a special occasion, a mirror that can show you the face of someone's previous incarnation, or a loyal pet that will follow you wherever you go.
Oh, it's got to be 1 and 2.
Okay. All right. So you have a mirror
for a pet.
Yeah, right. You have a mirror that can show you the face of someone's previous incarnation, and a sacred brew saved for a special occasion. So you write those down in your character sheet. And you let me know when you want to use them, and we will talk about how those work. Okay, cool. So let's do Maharib. So for you, Maharib, your hunt has led you to the Court of Swords, a place sacred to the fireworm and his kin. You've steeled yourself against the task that lies before you. Let us learn of your preparations.
Yeah.
Roll 2d6 and add your intelligence modifier. If it's negative, just don't add anything.
Well, the Roll20 changed the character sheets around.
They got an upgrade a little while ago.
Yeah. Cool. 2d6 plus 1.
Okay.
11. Nice.
Nice. Awesome. Rolling good. Okay, so on a 10 plus, you're going to get 2 of these. It was the same thing. On a 7 to 9, you choose 1. So you get 2 of these things. You carry a knife crafted by your elders, said to slay a worm if it is thrust into its heart, but whose magic carries a price in blood. You bring with you a charm crafted by the children of your people that will protect you from any flame, but only once. You have a single draft of an elixir that will imbue you with the powers of the heroes of old, but whose magic may kill you when it runs out. You get 2 of those 3. Sacred worm slaying knife, children's charm of protection, or a draft of the elixir of heroes.
I think 1 and 2. The knife
Okay.
and
All right.
the charm.
Okay, so I will just post those in there, and you can grab them from the chat. There you go. Cool. All right. And then last but not least, for now anyway, I've got one for Yon Hammer of Heaven, but when he gets back, he'll get his. Dearest Ramus, a man without a soul is barely a man at all, or so they say, and you've been without yours for such a long time now. It's almost starting to feel normal. How have you been holding up without it? Roll 2d6 and add your constitution. 2d6 and then whatever your constitution modifier is. 9. Okay. So on a 10 plus, you would only have to choose one of these things. On a 7 to 9, you have to pick 2. If you had rolled a 6 or less, all 3 of these would be true. So you're going to pick 2 of these. Your body has become strangely numb, giving you a resistance to non-magical slashing, bludgeoning, and piercing damage. You just can't feel them as much as you used to.
Wow.
Your mind is becoming distant and strange. Your humanity flagging. You have disadvantage on all persuasion and insight rolls. Or your connection to the fountain has become corrupt. Whenever you cast a spell with a damage type, make a DC 14 wisdom save, or the damage type becomes necrotic.
Okay.
Which of those 2 do you want?
Man.
I will definitely take the first one.
Yep. There's a good one and 2 bad ones. So,
Yeah. And I think I'll take the disadvantage on persuasion and insight checks.
Yeah.
okay. So there's that one, and then you're just like you're having a hard time seeing other people as people and understanding their feelings or like convincing them to do things. Let me post the third one in there too for you, and then just make a note of the ones that you're gonna take.
Okay.
There you go. Your humanity is flagging. Cool. That's our Ramus. Excellent.
Yay.
Okay. Cool. All right. And yeah, part of that on Dan's part, I imagine, is preparatory because we know that there's been some bad things rumored to be happening in the Court of Swords, and they might involve the undead. So being able to not accidentally necro fireball people might be useful. So that's a good call.
Well, they're all healed now. That helps.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, I'll kill them. Blip. Oh, oops. Cool. All right. So, when we return to the Court of Swords, when we see these characters for the first time, we begin with a wide establishing shot of the court itself, kind of a flyby shot. And we see the vast expanse of deep jungle. We see the azure bay of the south, the ribbons of silver that reflect all the rivers that dot this land. We can see in peeking up out of the jungle in many places the stepped pyramids, the temples that the Court of Swords are so famous for. And as we pass across this beautiful landscape, and we see the mountains kind of hazy and purple in the distance where the dwarves live, we start to see a corruption that is spreading, and we never get quite. I think we pull away from it before we get too close, but we can see areas of the jungle that have become rotten and black. The trees dying, plumes of smoke rising from the forges that power the new army that is growing and has been growing in the Riverlands. We don't get a close look at what's causing this blight, but it's clear that the rivers all around it are poisoned, the village is burned, that there is a dark presence being combated in the Court of Swords. And as we continue north, away from the ocean and up towards slightly more temperate areas, we follow the Golden Road, which is this ancient road laid down as part of the pact with heaven that leads from one court capital to another all through the world. It used to end at the city of Brass, but now ends at a terrible crater in the desert. But this road has been used by humanity as long as they've been trading, as long as they've been important to the world the way that they are now. And we follow it north up to a river that runs more or less like east-west and separates the Court of Coins to the north and the Court of Swords to the south. And as we get closer, as we sort of fly in, we see a bridge, a massive bridge spanning this river. The river at this point is some 60, 70 feet wide. And on the northern side, there is a military establishment. There's a brick and wood building with a sort of steepled roof, built in the style of the Court of Coins. There are several watchtowers, and all around we see groups of soldiers. Some of them practicing, some of them standing and talking, all of them baking a little bit in the heat. The bridge itself is fortified, but only in one direction. We can see barricades have been lifted up on the bridge with spikes, and at the other end of the bridge, a very different scene. Crowds of people, mostly human, some dwarves, gathered. There are 201 looks of desperation and fear on their faces. They are refugees, clearly and obviously at a glance. And it looks like they're not getting a lot of traction. There are carts and wagons. There are goats and ox. It looks like they're trying to cross this bridge, but they are being thwarted. And as a result, a fairly vibrant tent establishment has built up around the southern end of this bridge. There are people who have been here for days, weeks, months, maybe, unable to cross north and to safety. So we see all of that kind of the huddled mass on the southern side of the bridge. We fly over them and over the bridge north, slightly further up the Golden Road, and we see approaching three figures walking south along the Golden Road. There's not a lot of traffic up here, so they're standing out in the open. This area is hot and humid. You're uncomfortable, but you've been traveling a long time. The nearest town was a week behind you. There are trading posts here that have closed along the way because proper trade from the south has more or less shut down completely, because the border has been shut. You cannot cross either way, but mostly people are trying to head north. And so yeah, we see the three of you, and if you'd like to, you can describe your characters to us so we can get a visual idea. And we're sort of zooming in mid conversation. The group of you are just headed towards the border. You'll be there in just a few minutes, and then attempt to make your way across. So what do we see? Who wants to describe their character first?
I'd like Ramus to go first because I want to see how bad he's looking. I want to know the cretin that is Ramus Krill.
Okay. Yeah, you want
Ramus now walks with the help of a walking stick. He's having trouble, he shuffles more than walks anymore, and he wears a cloak completely covering his entire body and a mask of a skull mask over his face to try to disguise his appearance, because if people that look upon him don't like what they see something horrifying. So he wears a mask representing death over his face so people don't question or look underneath it. And he definitely is. It takes him effort to move, and he's not as strong as he once was. He seems like, if you would guess, he's much older than he is, because he walks like an old man versus someone that's young as he is.
Damn. Okay. Zeke,
Cool.
you want to go next? We're getting some echo from you, Dan. Sounds like
Are
it's
you?
on a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, Zeke, you want to go next?
All right. Sure. You see walking beside these two people, a giant of a thing, standing about 7 feet 10 inches tall, and just it's like a walking building, sort of. Just thick, and the head is so wide, and the ears like spread out. Like if you saw the ears like flap out, it would be just about as long as it is tall. And just dark gray skin, eyes that are deep yellow. Dandelion yellow is the color I went with. I looked it up.
Thanks.
But you can also see like there are definitely like red like veins from just years of drinking. And just a large creature, 3 fingers and a thumb, as all Loxodons have. Just an elephant-like body, elephant exact head, but like gray, pale or gray, like rough skin. Just under 400 pounds. But you see him dressed in just regular like robes, nothing fancy. But the thing that kind of stands out about him is they're like a deep red. Like the Red Sky at morning, Sailors Take Warning, Red Sky at night, Sailors Light, that kind of stuff. It's like that kind of a red coloring to it.
So would the color of your robes be something that would carry a meaning that any of the other characters might have a chance to roll to recognize?
Yeah, it's my relationship to the sun and my family.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it's like a red sunset or a red dawn or whatever.
So these would be familiar to you, Ramus. Then you've seen like they're, I'm not sure whether robes is the right word, but yeah, like the outfit, the monk's outfit that he's wearing. You would recognize. Okay.
And you also see like the robe kind of extends or has like it's like thumb holes in it that kind of wrap around the hands. So they like taper off at the wrist, and they kind of wrap around this way. Same with the legs. They kind of like taper off and wrap around. So it looks like a robe that's kind of been taped to the extremities.
Right.
And he carries a massive jug, like on his belt loop, and more often than not, it's in his trunk or in his hand. But right now, it's like hanging from his belt loop, just this huge jug that like, not like you'd have to be a big person to heft it and to drink from it. Otherwise, just like a backpack with just regular supplies in it, just for traveling and that kind of stuff. And that's about it. Like no shoes. And he looks like he's been around a while, seen some stuff. You can tell, like, I mean, age doesn't matter, but it helps like picture it. He's 123 years old, so he's been around, seen some shit, and now he's coming back home.
Did you describe if does he have tusks?
I forget elephants have tusks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, they'd come out of like the side of your mouth, big, long, like tusky boys.
Okay. I'm not sure how they mature. Like, how do they keep growing no matter what with age, or do they like have a certain length and stop?
Continuously growing, like front teeth, and you have to like wear them down. Yeah, continuous growth is enabled by and so you wear them down on stuff, because if you didn't, they would just like get all like
Okay, how about this? Yeah, just regular size, like proportional tusks, not too big, not too small. They come out like I want to say like 3 feet. Am I right? Something like that. They come out about 3 feet from the face, but you can see they are like they look pink, and that's just because they've been stained from splashback of wine.
Right. So I was gonna ask, whether you dyed them or like etched them or whatever. But I love the idea that like it's like the teeth of someone who smokes like a lot. Or
Exactly.
they're yellow. So yours are like red, mostly around your mouth and like out at the edges. That's cool.
Yep.
I like it. Nice.
Yeah, it's like darker here and it fades as it comes out because it's like
like you wouldn't drink out of a glass, right? Like your jug, you pour wine into your mouth from a distance, and so there'd be splashing and.
And also like it would probably be beneficial for the audience to know that I have my jug is my magical item. It's an alchemy jug, which means it like always fills up after a certain amount of time with a different liquid that I want, and more often than not, like 99% of the time, it's wine.
Yeah, you get a gallon of it every day. Cool.
A gallon of wine every day.
It's a dangerous business. All right, cool. JP, do you wanna tell us what your character looks like?
Sure. Can you spin up the game real quick, by the way, while we're chilling?
Yes. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. Thanks.
So it's kind of funny because I think Ramus, this like hobbled old man with a cane and a robe, is in the center. On his left is the character Zeke just described, this giant elephant man. And to his right is a 8 foot, 285 large man who is wearing black dragon scale splint mail. He's got a shield on his back. He's got a giant two-handed sword behind the shield on his back and a flail at his side. He's bald. He's not all that attractive. He has very almost like soul-piercing red eyes. Scars all over his neck that you can see going into the armor. What else? But his head is fine. It's not scarred or anything. Completely clean shaven, no beard, just no hair whatsoever. The sword is probably the most distinguishable part. You can kind of see it sticking off on the left of his shoulder.
I was gonna ask when you're not fighting with it, do you keep the sword like wrapped up, or is it just in a scabbard on your back?
It's like wrapped up. Yeah, like you see kind of the hilt sticking out to the left.
Right. So like, because I was envisioning that you like wrap it up in something and have it on your back. So it's like obviously sword shaped, but we don't get to see it until it like breaks out.
Yeah. You see like loose.
Yeah, but it's like
wrapping.
clear.
Loose leather wrapping and whatnot on the hilt. And it's much more intricate underneath, but we'll describe that when we get into a fight or something like that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you can save the big reveal of your sword for later. Sun-soaked tan skin. I don't have any helmet or anything, so I'm open to the elements in that regard. 33.
It's like Ramus Krill is like running like a harem of just giant bears.
Yeah, he looks important.
Huge.
Ready to rock. It's like, you want a taste? I got all the big guys you could want.
Yeah.
Huge deadly men.
Yeah, who are just super uncharismatic. Just so unbelievably uncharismatic.
I mean, everybody is. Yeah, everybody is terrible. Like Ramus at 8 charisma is tied for most charismatic. with Yota. So, cool. It's a weird harem anime. Yeah. Okay. So the group of you are approaching, and the what you would kind of know in advance is that you theoretically there are open borders between all of the courts. You can come and go as you please. You don't need any special dispensation, but you probably do need like identity papers, right? Just something that says you are who you are. Knowing that, Ramus, you technically the last time anyone in the Court of Swords saw you, you were in prison. So like this isn't like a modern border where they're gonna have a computer or whatever, but there's still some risk that you might get recognized. But if you can bypass that, if you can get by, then theoretically you should just be able to cross the bridge. Maybe there'll be a fee you have to pay, but you'll be able to cross the bridge and head south. Do you? I guess this is a question for Yotazo and Maharib. Do you have like transit papers? Is that something you would have arranged for in advance?
No, I'd try to get by on my name.
Mm-hmm. Right, that you're like, obviously I'm from here. You should let me in. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't
you know who my dad is?
Maharib, are you just leaving it up to your employer?
Yeah. I think that's how I get around is by mercenary work, leaving it up to the employer to speak for me. In that regard.
Okay. So Ramus, what's the plan? Do you have one, or is this just you're gonna try to just shit talk your way in?
I think we're going to get close and see what we're dealing with. How strict they're being. If they're more lenient, let people across instead of in. Maybe there's a way around. Like we're gonna just like get close and just scout out the area, and then make a plan once we see what we're dealing with.
Okay. All right. So you're gonna check it out and see what happens. All right. So you're approaching, and you've been traveling together for a while. What's the like tenor of your travel? Like I imagine, Maharib, you're here for business, so there's probably not a lot of like chatting. But what about Ramus and Yuta? Are the two of you like? Do you talk much? Are you having a conversation as you walk, or is this just sort of the quiet trudging of folks who've been on the road a long time?
Well, I honestly, man, I don't want to keep slipping in the same character that I've always played, but I really like if you think about it, like Kalimat talked like he was drunk all the time, just or as often as a drunk would speak.
Yeah.
So I was thinking like I'd be like telling a story, but I just got done playing that character. So
are you drunk? Are you drunk right now? I guess is the question.
What time of day is it?
Does that matter?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean,
all right.
From when I get up to,
you're like, am I
early?
Awake?
I'm not yet. But if it's like afternoon, then I keep a steady.
It is 7 p.m. Give or take.
PM?
Okay. Yeah, the
no,
world doesn't
noon,
work the same as ours, but
from noon until I go to sleep, I keep a nice buzz on. I'm not drunk, but definitely like we talked about. That's a sweet spot.
Yeah, you're aiming for the okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yeah, maybe it is just quiet. I think you crest like a bit of a ridge and you look down towards the bridge and you can hear the sound of the river in the distance. There's a bit of a breeze that's picked up. The sun I think is beginning to set, and you can see this site there's a post basically right on the side of the road. There's a post and it's got people in it. You can see their shape. And then there's the bridge, and you can see like military folks, like soldiers, kind of like milling around. Maybe some of them are drilling out in the open. This checkpoint looks different than the last time you saw it, Ramus. The last time you were through here on your way north with Kukrit, it was quiet. The bridge didn't have anybody. Like maybe there was somebody watching either side, but certainly wasn't busy like this. You can see from this distance like at least a dozen people just on this side alone. You can see smoke rising from the other side of the river, and even at this distance, you can see the clusters of tents. What do you do?
I wonder what's happening. Normally not this much of a order here. Things are so different now.
Well, they should let me right in, I'd imagine. I'll just go over there and show them this ring, and they'll escort me in, possibly on their shoulders.
Are you drunk again?
Indeed.
All right, and you promise me that you can function while drunk.
Oh, well, yes, of course I can. You know, you've seen me. I'm fine. Watch. And I just kind of like oddly nimbly walk towards the blockade.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Do you
I
walk in a
stop
straight?
about
Do you walk in a straight line?
I think for the most part, yes. You'll see like a little steadying. Like I'll like pause for a second and then keep going.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, I pause about 20 feet and I turn around and I look at them and I just like wave them on. Come on, let's go.
I look down
Okay.
at Ramus and just see if he walks forward first.
I do appreciate how obedient you are. The other one is not always quite so proper as you are.
The gold helps. After you.
Oh, there will be gold for you.
After you, Master Krill.
Keep calling me that. I like it.
I look straight ahead
Fla-
and just like, don't make this weird.
Well, I mean, flashbacks, right, Ramus, to like the dream of the vault, where the vault was like, yes, here, look at everything you could have. Okay, so the group of you continue with Yulta Zoe in the lead, and as you get closer, you hear dogs barking, sort of as a first warning, and you see ahead of you two soldiers holding the leashes of these two warhounds, and then up above in a tower, it's about 40 feet tall. You see archers, and the dogs have gotten their attention, and so the archers have come to the edge to look down as you approach. You're still about 60 or 70 feet away, and the soldiers are holding the chains of the dogs, and they've stopped. From their dress, you can tell that these are soldiers of the Army of the Court of Coins. They appear to be. You can't really tell anything about their their training or their ability, but they seem ready for people coming down the road, and they wait, just holding the leash of the dogs. And the dogs are barking, and right now the bark isn't like the bark of anger. It's just like they're barking because there are strangers approaching.
Right.
And Yota, you wanna approach first?
Yes, I'll approach first. I will. I'll have my jug in my hand, and as I'll be drinking as I'm walking. It's like walking to him. Whoa!
Okay.
Oh there.
And one of them, one of them pulls on the dog, and he looks at you and he says, "This checkpoint is closed. You can't cross the bridge here."
Oh, closed. Well, how about instead of it being closed, you open it for me and these two?
And he looks, kind of squints, looks back and forth, and he says, "No traffic in either direction. Order of both the courts."
He scratches his head. Well, oh, sorry. You know who really controls the courts? The money behind them. Do you know? And I put my fist out to show him slowly. Do you know
I'm not trying to punch you. I want to show you my ring.
what that means?
Okay, so you want to get close enough for them to see it?
No, I'm not getting close enough to get bit by the
You're just
dogs.
like, this is my hand.
Yep, exactly.
and
I kind of like point at it right there.
He looks and they're like, they whisper something, like they're whispering to each other. Do you want to try to hear them?
Absolutely. I've got big old elephant ears.
Yeah, make a perception check.
Which is funny because I get advantage to smell rolls for perception,
Yeah.
but not for hearing. You'd think I would.
Not for hearing. I don't know that elephants have that great hearing. It's the whole do owls have night vision thing again.
Okay, good point. All right, you said perception?
Yes, please.
12.
Okay. You get the impression that these two are like, who is this? What is he doing? What is this thing? I don't even know what it is. Go and get. And then like they're trying to decide like who's gonna go and get somebody, and they're like the archers are watching. You'll be fine. And one of them eventually sort of loses the bet or whatever, loses the discussion, and takes his dog. And the one that stays with you, he says, "Hold on," and just kind of stares at you, while the other one runs off towards the barracks building.
Okay. I have all the time in the world. I'll just be here. Drink her.
Yeah. So it doesn't look, Ramus, from where you're standing, some feet back, it doesn't look like, it looks like there's a delay. There's some kind of problem. Do you intervene or do you wait?
I think I walk up to next to Yelta, and I tell the guard,
Being a god doesn't pay much, I imagine. Would a little payment help us across any faster?
Yeah, I mean, maybe make a persuasion check. You can see him thinking about it. Now remember, you have disadvantage on this, you soulless monster.
Hey, not bad.
Wow. Wow. All right, that's pretty good. Let me see here. I'll make a wisdom save. Let's see what this guy's wisdom is. Wow. Okay, no bonus, just +0. All right, here we go. So he looks at you, and he looks at your friend, and he like looks around. He's like, "Fine, just we'll pretend like I saw your papers already. Just don't cause any trouble, all right?" And then he
Here's
looks at
our
you like, "Look, give me some
documents.
and I hand him 2 rings worth 25 gold each into his palm.
Okay. Jewelry's even better because he can be like, I always had these. This is not extra coins. So he takes them and he looks at them and he tucks them in his purse. And you see coming up behind him, you see a woman and the soldier who's handed off his dog to someone else. And so this woman is approaching alongside the first soldier. And this looks to be like the manager. And so the soldier turns around and he puts his hands up and he says, "Oh, Corporal Jan, don't worry, everything is fine. I saw their papers and we can let them through the checkpoint." And Corporal Jan, the woman, she's got a like a fairly severe like bob. She's got black hair. She looks to be in her mid-20s. She's dressed like they are, but she has some additional, like a sash of office that indicates her rank. And 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 she walks up with this guard, and I'm gonna make a deception check on behalf of this soldier to see if he's like gonna do the work for you. He's like, I already saw their identification. We're good here. Let's see. He's got a exactly. He's got a charisma of +0. Let's make a charisma check for this soldier. He got a 9. Good. Let's see if the corporal, if she falls for it. She does not have bonus to insight, so.
Oh.
Okay, so she gives him a look, and she says, "Very well." And you get this, like, there's a moment here where she's like, they all kind of agree, like, yep, it's fine. These guys are special. We can just let them through and don't worry about it. But like, whatever you just got from them, you got to share it with us later. And the group of you start, I guess, like your gesture across, and as you go, the corporal she escorts you to the bridge, and she says to you, just so you know, getting across our side of the bridge is only half the problem. When you get to the other side, she grins, kind of like, it's like a mean look, not to you, but to like the people on the other side. And she says, I don't know why you would want to go to that place. I mean, just look at them. And you see, as you get closer to the edge of the bridge, you can see there's a cluster of maybe a dozen people. There's you spot, and we get a shot of it like closer up. So there's an ox-drawn wagon that is pulled up, and the ox is lowing frustratedly, and there's a bunch of people, and they're talking to a rather beleaguered looking Court of Swords official on the other side, who has one guard with him. They're talking. The mother of this family is talking to him, and there's like a bunch of other people, like a dozen people around, and they're all like trying to argue with this guard, like, you have to let us across. And the noble is like putting his hands up. The officiate is like, you can't, like, we can't allow it. We can't go across. And he keeps pointing at the soldiers, and there's just this cluster of people, just people holding babies. There are people with their like little flock of goats, and they all look miserable and exhausted. And you are seeing them for the first time across this river, this fairly swiftly flowing river over this big wooden bridge. And she says, better, I think, to stay on this side. Unless, she looks at the peasants. Unless you think you're going to have it better than them.
Now, it's been a while since I've been back. What is happening in the Court of Swords?
She squints at you, and you can see her trying to decide how much to tell you. And she says, it depends on who you ask. All those filthy peasants who want to come into our court, they say it's a tragedy. There's plague and food has gone bad. Everyone is starving. Serves the Court of Swords right. Arrogant pricks. You get the impression that that's not the entire story, but that's what she's willing to tell you.
Yeah. And that's exactly what he does. Like, leans back a little bit, squints his eyes. But that's not all of it. I'm sure you have opinions about the situation.
I am being paid to protect our country from that. I'm not being paid to have opinions. And you see Yota, you see him sneeze. And it's kind of a loud sneeze because it comes through the trunk, but he drops like a handful of gold coins on the ground. Oh, well, you seem to
dropped your purse. Maybe there's a way you could slowly pick them up and tell me exactly what in the nine hells is going on.
Make a persuasion roll.
Should I count the gold and add that as a bonus?
I'll give you advantage. Yeah, I'll give you advantage on the roll.
Def an 8. There you go.
Welcome to the new low charisma party, everybody.
Well, that's the thing.
Let's see how I do. It's cool. Apparently, she's super greedy. It doesn't matter.
Jesus.
I could have rolled a disadvantage. It would have been fine.
So she looks down and she looks around, and there's like another soldier nearby that's looking at her like, I didn't see anything, and just looks away. And she says, yes, I seem to have. So clumsy of me. Excuse me. And she like bends down to pick up the coin.
And I kind of bend down with her and help her
to help,
like so she can talk like in more hushed tones.
Yeah. So she says to you, I honestly don't know why you're going to that place. I mean, either they're telling the truth and there's some kind of terrible plague going on down there, or it's just another Court of Swords lie, a trick. Another way for them to try to take land from us. I don't know how they're playing it, but this has got to be some of it. But make a bunch of peasants sick and send them north across the border, send them into our country and get us sick? Is that how it works? I have never trusted these people.
Seen any sick people with your own eyes?
I kind of know. I don't cross the bridge. And she like looks at you like you're crazy. She's like, my appointment is to protect the camp and the border. And the border, and she points at the edge of the river, starts there. I don't set one foot on that bridge. But my men, they've been reporting sick farmers. I don't know how the Court of Swords takes care of its people, but just look.
I'm sorry.
She like staggers back a little bit and is like, okay, I'm done talking to you. And she says, but she says, you're free to cross if you can. And she looks and she casts a glance at the back of the court of the Court of Swords officer, and she says, "Good luck getting past Decha. He's a real asshole."
Well, it just so happens we have an asshole of our own.
And she looks back at Ramus, the skull-faced man, and his giant boyfriend, and she's just like, "Okay, I'm glad to see you go. That will be fine." And she gestures, and I think she says to there are soldiers on the bridge, and you can see that the bridge is set up so that you can't charge it from the other side. There are these spiked barriers that you kind of have to weave through, and on it there are soldiers and more dogs, and she kind of like shouts, she's like, "Let these three pass," and they kind of like shrug, like, "Okay, you're going the wrong direction anyway, so we don't really care." And they let you go by onto the bridge anyway.
As we pass by, there's just a very subtle like, "Ma'am," and I just walk by.
Yeah, and she's like doing one of these in front of her, like there's like a cloud of bugs in her face or something. She's kind of just like she notices but doesn't respond because she's trying to clear the air.
So I think being an elephant locks it on for 123 years. I want to say it'd be second nature to like keep my nose open and like to see if I can like, what do these people smell like? Do they smell like death? Do they smell like booze? Do they smell like like dirt?
Right now,
like
everything
filthy, like go.
Right now, everything around you smells like burps. But as you leave, the cloud of your own making,
my nose goes way up here, dude.
You just periscope out of there. Okay, totally. So you're not in amidst the crowd yet. So you can you can smell the smell of the water and the trees and the earth. You can smell the sweat on the soldiers, the smell of the dogs. But yeah, you're not in unless the wind turns and blows the stink of the refugee camp over to you.
Yeah, I just wanted you to know I'm keeping my nose open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you have free reign to cross the bridge now if you'd like.
You said it's around 7, right?
Yeah. Like another hour or so, and it'll be dark.
Yeah.
Yeah. Night will fall.
Okay. We walk forward a couple steps then and kind of get out of earshot of the guards. I turn to Ramus.
Okay.
We should camp soon, sir. It's getting dark out.
Indeed, but I want to camp on a bridge. Let's get past this crowd of peasants and get further into the court.
Yes, that is wise. I look towards Zoe. What is he doing at this point? Are you just kind of fumbling about in front of us?
I'm waiting for you guys to catch up. Like if
Okay.
I'm in front, I'm waiting for you to catch up, and then we'll walk together.
Okay. If he's in front, then I Master Krill, are we following him or is he following us?
We're traveling together. We have shared destinations. It's better to travel in groups than alone.
I understand. As you wish. I continue walking.
And if you're unfamiliar with are you from the Court of Swords?
Are there any mountains around, Adam? You said this area is quite mountainous.
The mountains in the Court of Swords are like dwarf territory. They're basically where the dwarves came from. So probably there wouldn't be any of your people there.
Okay.
Maybe you used to be, but you were like pushed out or something. But yeah, there's this. Remember, we talked about it way back when Baron was from there. There are like hill dwarf, abandoned hill dwarf, like an empire basically that once stood in those mountains.
Right.
But now it's kind of haunted and yeah.
Okay. I look down at Ramus and I have been around in all of the courts, but I'm not from here.
Well, his kind are very revered in our land. Traveling with one of them is lucky for us. We might get free room and board, gifts. They're almost worshipped like demigods.
Very well.
Yeah, and I mean, I think as you say that we get a cut, like the shot cuts to Yota approaching the edge of the other end of the bridge, and like the noble and his bodyguard, the officiate, they are they're turned away from you, but the crowd is turned towards you, and instead of like shouting in excitement about like you have to let us through, what's going on, they see what they perceive to be like their divine savior. A member of the Gaja have come to like they'll clear this up. Like, the servants of the gods are here to mete out justice. Hooray for us! And immediately begin like shouting. You hear cries of Gaja, help, please, and prayers. Maybe a couple of them kind of like fall to their knees in like desperation. And I think at that point, the noble, Officer Decha, hears all of this commotion and scowls, and he turns around, and we get to see him for the first time. So he's not armored. He's not armed either, except for like with a scroll, I guess, tucked under his arm. He has graying hair that is he's kind of going bald on top. His hairline is receded partway. He has the tan skin of someone who works outside, and the naturally tan skin of the people of the Court of Swords. He looks like he's got some peasant in his lineage somewhere. He's in his like mid 50s, but looks older and wrinklier from all the sun. He's wearing the outfit of an officiate, so it's like robes in a blue and gold color, and he has several pieces of gold jewelry. So he has like gold rings in one ear, and he has on his face, as he turns around to see you, his immediate look is one of like, what the hell? Bullshit. There's not a Gaja behind me. And he turns around and he sees you. And his eyes widen a little bit. Do you say or do anything?
I'm kind of standing with my jug in my hand, looking down on him.
Yeah, and so he looks at your chest, and then his eyes follow up to the front of you, and he says,
I just lean down a little bit. Good day. You look familiar to me.
I am. You can see he's at a bit at a loss.
And you said he was a noble, right?
Like he's an official. There is a line of human nobility he does not belong to. That's basically like the family and their blood relatives. He's definitely not one of those, but he fulfills like a role of being an official. He's not a military officer. He's a government official.
It's the shape of that nose looks very familiar. Are you one of the what was their name? I want to say the Bragdorf family. It's been a long time. Many years.
Honored Gaja, no, I am Officer Decha. This bridge is my responsibility. You, who are you?
Well,
he looks past you for the first time at your companions who are also on the bridge. Kind of glances at
have you had occurrence to walk into the Temple of the Sun in your time here?
We made pilgrimage there once when I was a boy. Why?
There are many statues and many different artistic representations. Those were provided by my family. People now call me Yota Zo, but perhaps you've heard the family name Kel before.
I'm gonna make a history check, and if he succeeds, then you can make a persuasion check with advantage. But if he fails, then
okay.
I think I'll call it DC 12.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, he's heard of you. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Okay, now you can make a persuasion check.
Okay. With advantage, you said? Okay.
Yes, with advantage.
Ooh.
Okay.
18.
So he blinks and he says, "Honored, I did not know. I'm sorry, I did not recognize you. It has been many years since my pilgrimage. Please." He gestures, but when he turns, there's all these peasants that are like jammed up, and they've created like and word is getting around that there's a Gaja who's come to the camp, and so you look and there's refugees just gathering around to get a look at you. They're all clustering up and clamoring, and the noise is getting quite significant.
Yep,
up
and I
on
was
the
just going to respond to that. Like you see, like. I'm looking around and see everybody. Please calm down and have some business. And then have you ever seen a drunk get to the fuck it point where he's just like, that's it. And you hear like his ears like go like flap way out, and he just trumpets as loud as he can. Just
okay.
And hopefully, like that quiets everybody down. Hope.
Yeah. I don't know. Like make an intimidation check.
Okay. Oh, that's a nice -1. Sure. Let's try that. Hey, a fucking crit.
Jesus.
Wow.
Good to go.
Nice.
All right. So the peasants are terrified of you, right? This is there's this kind of idea of like the gentle Gaja who like come to bless humanity, but there's also the idea of the like terrifying like thunder elephants, right? Who are here to crush and destroy anyone who opposes them. So yeah, they fall. The peasants all fall to their knees. Even the officiate like steps back, and his bodyguard sort of like steps to the side, and all of them kind of go prone and press their foreheads to the mud. And there's like weeping and the gnashing of teeth, and you've kind of cleared a path through. But there's like a significant crowd of these people. But if you move quickly, you might be able to pass through them.
Let's see. But I need permission from what's his name?
Officer Decha. Yep.
Decha. Yes. That was established, right? That I need him like a writ for us to get in, or
technically your papers of transit. He would need to stamp them with the like bureaucracy of roads. Like seal that allows you to move around on the roads within the court, because if there are other checkpoints, you're gonna have to keep repeating this process.
Well, so like one part about being a noble is not only do I have a signet ring, but I have a scroll of pedigree, which shows my like history or my like ancestry, and like so would that like work for this situation? No.
I think that anybody who is like a road traveler would have, like, definitely Maharib has some. Ramus, you would have at one point, but they were your papers were taken away from you when you were arrested, like more than a decade ago. So you don't have any official papers unless you have like obtained some already. Do you have a fake ID, Ramus?
I think I probably bought one just in case, and I needed one, a forgery.
Okay. How much money did you spend on your forgery?
We'll say 20 gold.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna make a note. It's a 20 gold fake ID. Who does your ID say that you are?
Says I'm oh god, I need a name.
I mean, you don't need I don't necessarily need a name, but like, what is your fake identity?
Yeah, I like Camus Rill. I like that. That's
Cramus Rill.
No, Mike Truck.
Yeah, Mike Truck. Exactly.
Mike Truck. It would say I'm
President Truck.
I'm a servant of the Temple of the Sun, like a janitor position. Like that's my official.
Okay. Do a lot of like temple servants wear death masks around, or?
Actually, probably that would be better. Temple of the Temple of Death.
Yeah. Okay.
Serve that one.
You're like a mortician. Okay.
Yeah.
And as the people are like bowing or trembling or whatever, I like raise my or I dip my trunk into my jug, and I speak. I say, "Yes, I'm sorry that I had to do that, but I needed you all to be ready to accept my blessing." And he starts spraying like little wine like all over the audience, like all over the crowd.
Okay.
Yes,
right.
be blessed. I bless all of you.
Okay.
The wine of the ancients.
All right. So you want to start walking out into the crowd, like making your way through them?
Yep.
Spraying people with
my
wine.
Whole
Okay.
idea. Yep.
Okay. All right. Okay. So
Be blessed with the blood of the ancients.
Officer Decha stamps your paperwork and like gives it back to you as you walk off, spraying wine on people. Maharib, you get your transit paper stamped as well. I'm gonna make a roll to see if he notices that yours are fake, but he's got disadvantage because he's distracted by all this elephant shit. But not elephant shit in the way you think. Okay. So I got a 7. Okay, so he doesn't look long enough to figure out that something is wrong as the group of you start to move out into this crowd. And I think that Yota, people are reaching up and like touching you. And it's difficult terrain as you pass through, right? You're trying to like get your way through. And as you're passing by, people are kind of closing in. And we can see this. You can see over them because, well, Ramus, you can't. But the two of you, Maharib and Yota, you're quite tall, so you see out over this crowd.
Right.
And I think, can I real quick before we go to break, Yota and Maharib, because you're tall enough, can I get perception checks from the two of you?
15.
Okay, maybe get a 15. Good.
15.
Nice. Okay, so you both see. At the back of one of the wagons, you see someone who is clearly not a peasant. They're dressed in like a shawl and like filthy peasant clothes, and they have sandals and stuff on. But underneath, you see a sallow face whose eyes have a strange green glow, and you see this person reaching into their robes and drawing out an object. And we will find out what that is and who this mysterious sallow man is.
Great.
When we return from our break.
Cool. All right. Well, let's take our break. Still got 2 hours left to go on the show, and we will complete those 2 hours right after this. So we'll see you guys in just about 5 or 6 minutes. Right back.